Hi, welcome to English 101. I wanted to make a video to welcome you to the class and to walk you through what you need to know this week and just some basics of how this class works and what we're doing here. So first, I'm your professor. My name is Steve Cave. Nice to meet you. I am available every Tuesday I have office hours at noon that I'll be posting a link to. It's the same link through Zoom that you can meet with me if you ever have any questions. You can also email me anytime and set up your own private meeting for a different time if that time doesn't work for you. I'm available. In a class like this, it's pretty often that students will get through the entire course without ever actually talking to me. So I want to make sure that you know if anything goes wrong in this class right up front, I'm here, I'm real. Just reach out to me and I'll make sure to help. So if I take a couple of days though to reply, don't panic. As soon as you've emailed me, the help is on the way. If I ever don't reply though as fast as you want and you're panicking, feel free to email me again. I won't be upset. I understand how this works, and I understand being like remote and far away from everything, how that can be tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself, and let's take a look at the class on Canvas. So here is the basic welcome page. Down here at the bottom, you can see over to the side here, but there's like my email addresses right there. This is if you hit home. So if you hit modules, this is where the class lives. This is where most things exist. The modules, there are several. The first one is the orientation modules. This is if you're new to Canvas, if you're new to online learning, look through all this stuff. The things I want to make sure that you know to do are to set up a discussion forum alerts, because I do use announcements a lot in this class, and set your profile picture. That way people know what you look like. But the important one is the forum alerts. Anyway, check through all this. Once you're done with it, this little arrow up in the corner right here, that minimizes that module and will leave it minimized. So when you come back, it's still minimized. I want to point that out because several of these modules in the beginning are things you're going to want to minimize until you want to use them later. Like the research guide. So this is stuff you are going to be using throughout this course. You're going to be writing research papers. So how to use them? Well, here's all the guides. Here's finding sources. Here's how to evaluate sources. Here's how to use the library. How to use research at all. So you'll have reference to these. I'll be like, go back and read these. This is where they are. There's no textbook you have to pay for in this class. Instead, I have things like this set up online for you, all ready to go. So I'm going to go minimize that one. Then there's basic library research steps. So these 7 steps walk you through how to use the library. You're going to need, right? In this class, you're going to be writing 2 essays. The second one is a research essay. And for the research essay, you're going to need to first write an annotated bibliography. In that, you're going to need to find all sorts of sources from the library. So this is how to find them. So again, I'm going to minimize that because week 1, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Extra credit. This is all the extra credit for the class collected into one place. Each one of these is worth like 10 points, I think. This last one is worth 15, if I remember right. But check them out. They have all the instructions within them. This first one is only with the due date because it's editing your first essay to get extra credit. After that, there's no due date because you can turn these in anytime you want up to the last day of the class, which is December 12th. So let's go ahead and minimize this guy. Now we have week 1, course introduction. So go ahead and read through this stuff. Here's this video. There's a link to this video that you're watching right now. Each module is broken into 2 parts. There's what you need to study and what you need to complete. I think it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. The study things tell you if they're reading or watching something. So this week I have 3 things for you to read. Go ahead and read through those. And then when you're done, you move on to what's to complete this week. So this week to complete, you have a discussion and critical thinking work. So there's a discussion every single week. How these discussions work, these take the place of class time. So I'm going to have you talk to each other. Every discussion board for each week is due before midnight Wednesday of that week. And then you have until midnight the following Sunday to comment. You need to comment 3 times on each discussion board if you want to get all the points, right? So discussion board walks you through. It tells you, explain here what you're doing. There's parts. For part 1, I want you to answer these questions or do these things. Post a picture. Tell us about it. Tell us what job you're looking for. What are your hobbies? Things like that. This first discussion board is getting to know you. But there is part that's also part to do with what we're going to work on for your first essay, and that's the second part. I want you to start exploring your identity, right? Here's some terms that you might know already. It's important that we all use them the same though, so go ahead and read through these and study them. Just learn them. Ask me if you have any questions, but we're talking about dominant group, subordinate group, privilege, and intersectionality. Gotta learn those terms. And then I want you to combine parts 1 and 2 into your post that is due Wednesday. and then come back by midnight Sunday, comment 3 times. The points for all this, the initial post for this week is 10 points. Everything else adds up to 10 points. That's usually how it is, only it's double this for every other discussion board. So that's a discussion board. If you get past that Sunday and you haven't made your comments, you can still make the comments. It's just they'll be your work will be late. But comments made, I should say, you can still post to the discussion board. Your initial post is still worth those points. But comments are only valuable within the week that discussion happens. So if the following Sunday rolls around and you forgot to do comments and you email me, hey, can I go comment on that? Or if you ask for more time, hey, can I have an extension to a comment on those? That nobody will read the comments for a week that we aren't in anymore. It's just how it works. So comments are only useful in the week that we're in. It's just like attendance. It's exactly like attendance. So just make sure that you treat it like attendance. And if you mess up, it's okay. There's lots of extra credit for you to catch up on if you need those points. And then the other thing that's due this week is another discussion. Everything in this class is turned in on discussion boards so that it's all public. So everything you turn in, everybody's going to see. For this one, where do critical thinking and artificial intelligence intersect? This is our first critical thinking exercise. So as I explained in this, critical thinking is one of the primary things you're supposed to learn from this class. So we're going to launch into that with talking about AI. So I have a little, very short lecture, I think like 10 minutes about AI that I want you to watch. Then I want you to watch this little video where he's talking about some bad writing in an article. And with the information from those two, I want to hear your thoughts. And you're answering the question, what do you imagine are some good uses for AI in this class, English 101? I want to have a discussion about it. You should also be, yeah, that's everything. And you should be reading the words from the school too. I want you to be looking at all that and thinking, what is a good use for AI in this class? Because I'm not going to be saying don't use AI at all. Make myself a bit bigger here. I'm not going to be saying don't use AI. I'm going to be saying let's learn how to use it in a way that makes sense for our goals. So our goals for this class, my goals for you are to help you become a better writer, to find your voice as a writer, because that's what sets you apart from the rest of the world and AI. And I want you to develop your critical thinking skills, and I want you to learn how to write a research essay. So those are the things that you need to learn in this class. So some of that AI can help with. Some of that AI could help you cheat with. But if you do that, well, I'm going to let you watch the little spiel where I talk about my thoughts on that. But you're here for a reason. You know what that reason is. Let's help you reach those goals. That's what I really want, right? So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself back again. So this critical thinking exercise, go ahead and work on that. Make sure it's due. It's also due. When is this due? Is this due Wednesday or Sunday? This is due Sunday. It's just on a discussion board. So, there's no comments that you need to put on it. You can read other people's work and comment if you want, but none of that is required. So it's worth 10 points. And it's due Sunday. The discussion's worth 20 points. It starts on Wednesday. So that's this week. Once you get that done, you'll be good. I want to look ahead at some of the things that are coming down the pipeline. So next week, we'll be talking about APA. You'll be learning about what that is, what that formatting is. It's the formatting we're going to use in this class for your essays, so you need to learn it. And then week 3 is when your memoir is due. So that's your first essay right there. If you click on it, it's worth 100 points, you notice. If you click on it, there's all sorts of information about how to write the essay. The directions are in the assignment. Talk about APA formatting, how it's going to be graded, and there are 2 examples for you to look at. So make sure you get that in by the end of week 3. But yeah, let me know if you need any more time. Something weird like that happens. Yeah. So in this class, it's my late policy is that work just loses points for being late. For every day it's late. But if you ever need more time on something, tell me before the due date and I will extend it. You just email me and say, hey, I need another week. Be generous with yourself. I need another week. And I'll write back and say, sounds good. Email me when you turn it in. That way I'll come back and see this email and then I'll know to mark it as on time. That's my system. So if you ever need more time, you gotta tell me before the due date. The only group that gets a special situation there is if you have an IEP that says you need more time for evaluations, like tests. Our essays in this class are all tests. That's how you're going to be evaluated in this class. So, if you have an IEP that says you get more time, just remind me of that, and I'll give you more time. So, yeah, that's how that all works. So, real quickly, just looking at the other essays in this class, because you can look ahead all you want. Week 6, I think. Yep, is when the annotated bibliography is due. That's a big deal. We'll be working up towards that. And then at the end of week 9 is when your essay is due. or no, week 10. So when your essay is due, second one, exploring power, and then there's one final week of wrap-ups, and everything's done. So the other thing that I want to make sure that you know before this class starts, I've talked about late policy, I've talked about, is that everything is on discussion boards. So all of your work is posted publicly. And every few weeks, there's an assignment where I have you go look at what your classmates are writing and react to it. So just heads up, make sure that you do your best work, because it's not just sharing it with me, you're sharing it with the whole entire class. I think that helps add value to what we're doing here. So anyway, see you on the discussion board. If you have any questions for me, email me. Otherwise, post your self-introduction, and I'll see you there. And yeah, I'm excited to get this class going. See you there on the boards. Let me know if I can help with anything at all.